Hello friends, welcome to Lukman IAS. Today we are going to have the Hindu analysis of 24th May 2021. Let us see which are the important articles from today's The Hindu newspaper. Yes, these are the important articles for mains purpose and for prelims purpose. We have separated them. Let us take overview of all these articles first and then we'll go into details of all these articles one by one. So first article, recalibrate growth, reprioritize expenditure. On page number 6 editorial page, this article written by C. Rangarajan, the economist. Yes, he is actually having the context by writing this article regarding changes that are required in the government expenditure and the impact on fiscal space of the central government as an, let's say, impact of COVID-19 pandemic, second wave that is going on at present. Okay, and what the priority areas, new priority areas that are required for government expenditure, all these aspects are given in this article. So for GS3 paper economy part, GS2 paper polity and governance part, it is important. Then another challenge, this is again having the context of rising cases of mucormycosis disease in the different states. So yes, we have to understand about this disease and then the present treatment system and who are the vulnerable population and the prevention strategies that needs to be adopted. All these aspects again we are repeating these aspects. Yes, there will be revision. So GS2 paper health, governance and COVID-19 part. So this editorial on page number 6. The many benefits of eco tax. So eco tax, it is talking about ecological tax or environmental tax. So the fiscal reforms that are required for management of environment, all these aspects are discussed in this article. This is important from GS3 paper environment section as well as any such essay topic related to environment, sustainable development or even the climate change aspects. Okay, so on page number 7 op-ed page, this is talking about the basics of such kind of environment tax regime and in which area such a environment tax can be implemented in India and the impact of such environment tax. Okay, so GS3 paper as well as those who are having geography optional subject, this is also important. Next, for prelims examination, Congo volcano spare Goma city, 5 dive in crash while trying to leave. So yes, which is this particular volcano and the location in the Democratic Republic of Congo country, we have to understand from geography mapping perspective. There can be match the following type of question. Yes, next, film on Auroville's afforestation project to be screened in Paris. So it is a Change Now summit in Paris. Virtual summit is going to happen. In that summit, this particular feature film, short film is to be screened. So we have to understand the location, Auroville's afforestation project in Tamil Nadu, and what is this Change Now summit. So important organizations, forums, intergovernmental organizations at world level, international level in terms of climate change related actions. All these are important for our prelims examination. Then lastly, some COVID-19 related developments at national and international stage. On day-to-day basis, we are having follow-up on this. At the same time, cyclone Yas is going to have impact on the eastern coast of India. Northern Odisha and West Bengal states are preparing for landfall of this cyclone Yas. So we have to have follow up on that aspect. And lastly, some daily prelims MCQs that we are solving on day-to-day basis on the basis of these current affairs in the Hindu analysis. Yes. So let us go into details one by one. First article on page number 6, recalibrate growth, reprioritize expenditure. Why the writer is saying that recalibrate growth? Because the impact of COVID-19 pandemic second wave in India is very high in terms of economic growth. Okay, so there is some kind of decreasing projections of real GDP growth in the country, and because of that there is need of recalibration of these growth projections. in union budget that were earlier done. Yes, so at the same time reprioritize expenditure, so as to have or maintain the projected economic growth, we have to reprioritize expenditure also, right? So yes, from this aspect, two important points we have to understand. Two factors will affect the fiscal deficit estimate of 6.76% of GDP in 2021-22 according to the budgetary estimates, right? So which two factors will affect this fiscal space? One, there would be change in budgeted nominal GDP growth, right? So yes, we have to understand, surely because of contraction in economic growth, there will be contraction in economic activities, there will be less nominal GDP growth in this year, and therefore this is the first factor. Second, there would be a shortfall in the receipts from tax, non-tax and non-debt sources. So yes, it is going to reduce, the revenue of the government is going to reduce, and therefore together these two factors may lead to slippage in the fiscal deficit, which may be close to 7.7% of GDP in this financial year if the total expenditure are kept at budgeted levels, and therefore there is a case for reprioritizing these expenditures. Okay, so to ensure minimal impact on fiscal deficit, we have to optimize the government expenditure. Now, what the new priority areas that government needs to focus on its expenditure? Yes, earlier the government focused on more and more public expenditure on infrastructure projects. However, the writer is also of the view that such kind of infrastructure projects should be related to health sector. For example, yes, given the likelihood of third COVID-19 wave, there is an urgent need to ramp up health and related infrastructure. For example, construction activities within the health sector will have high multiplier effect. This is going to increase or ensure the employment generation, livelihood protection, along with that the appropriate and sufficient healthcare infrastructure will be generated. It is talking about the physical aspects of healthcare infrastructure. At the same time, the social, or we can say human resource, higher expenditure on inducting larger workforce of doctors, nurses and paramedics and other hospital related administrative staff. So human resource is also important, and the expenditure in recruitment of all these human resource is also going to be very important. This should be the priority area. Strong support is needed for vulnerable groups of the society, including migrant labor, rural and urban unemployed population. So focus on social justice and welfare of this vulnerable population. Social security of this vulnerable population is very important, so that these protection to these groups is given by the government. And lastly, speedy and larger vaccination coverage of vulnerable population is key to minimize economic damage. Now at present, the government expenditure, especially for the vaccination program, the central government had allocated 36,000 crore rupees especially for vaccination, or we can say transfer to the states for vaccination purpose under finance ministry. However, the writer is of the view that such kind of, let's say, instead of such kind of transfers to the states, the central government should buy these vaccines from the national and international market and then directly transfer these vaccines to the states, so that there is equitable distribution and access to these vaccines among different states. As we know that there is a different kind of abilities among these states for the mobilization of resources, and therefore advanced states are well placed for buying these vaccines from the international market as compared to some of the weaker states in terms of economic growth and development, right? So yes, the writer is providing that solution also. Now what kind of question we can expect here? Explain the need for reprioritizing the expenditure by the government. What should be the priority areas for expenditure, right? So such kind of question we can expect. Why there is need? We have to understand the impact of this COVID-19 pandemic on the fiscal space of the government, and that's why there is need of reprioritizing. And what should be the areas? These should be the areas: health sector, both physical infrastructure, human infrastructure or human resources, and then social security expansion, vaccination of all. This is all aspects that are required as a priority areas for expenditure of the government. Okay, yes. Moving on, another challenge, the context here is of this particular article, editorial page number 6, rising cases of mucormycosis, the fungal infection disease. So yes, recently the central government has asked states to declare this particular mucormycosis fungal disease as epidemic under this particular law, Epidemic Diseases Act 1897. Now what is the significance of declaring any particular disease as notifiable disease under this Epidemic Disease Act 1897 is that all the cases which are being reported in different states about for this mucormycosis disease, they are to be conveyed, communicated and reported to the state health departments. This is the significance of any disease to be declared as notifiable disease. Then, while infection is caused by a group of molds called mucormycetes, which are commonly found in environment, fungi are largely harmless under normal circumstances. Okay, however, these are the not normal circumstances. Those COVID-19 patients with severe disease, they are actually, let's say, especially those with uncontrolled diabetes are on steroid therapy, face higher infection risk, right? So yes, the use of steroid, instead of use, I would say misuse of the steroids or overuse of these steroids has led to increased sugar production among these let's say diabetic patients, making such patients more susceptible to mucormycosis infection. Okay, this is the important aspect. Along with that, absence of any new or repurposed drugs to effectively treat COVID-19 patients and lack of clear guidelines in using certain drugs have led to indiscriminate use of drug and including these steroids, right? So these aspects, along with that, there are also let's say infections, fungal infections that are caused due to lack of hygiene, or we can say that the moisture that is present in the ICUs, and because of that such kind of fungal infection may happen, right? So basically those who are receiving treatment in ICUs, and that too those who are having the uncontrolled diabetes, overuse of the steroids, all these aspects are being responsible for mucormycosis cases. Then what should be the way forward? Actually, this should be the wake up call for both patients as well as medical practitioners, doctors, so as to provide, or let's say use the steroid judiciously for limited period and in the right dosage. At the same time, we have to understand that self medication with steroids should be avoided at any cost. Self medication, over the counter buying of these drugs should not be there, and the patients or the common people should be aware about the consequences of such self medication. In COVID-19 patients with diabetes, controlling blood sugar levels using insulin can help prevent mucormycosis infection, right? So yes, availability of amphotericin B, at present it is low. However, the government is ramping up the production of this particular drug which is being used to treat mucormycosis all over India. At present it is limited, but yes, 5 manufacturers in India are in the process of ramping up production, and in addition 5 other such companies are also working on producing this particular drug. Since the infection presents itself with typical symptoms, timely diagnosis is easy and the infection can be cured without even surgery if detected earlier. So early detection is very important for the effective cure for this disease. Okay, so yes, understanding and locating the symptoms of this mucormycosis is very important, and therefore then there will be appropriate treatment can be given. Okay, yes. So yes, this is also one of the reason why people, particularly those with diabetes, should be also vaccinated soon. What will happen here, after vaccination they will not be getting, let's say, severe COVID-19 disease. Even if they are infected with coronavirus here, they will not have the severe disease, and therefore the use of steroids will be minimal, and ultimately the infection for this mucormycosis disease will be reduced. Okay, so this is how we have to provide the way forward also. Yes, simple question can be asked. You need to be aware that such kind of question can be asked in GS3 paper, general science, science and technology part also, biology, biotechnology, all these aspects are there, and in GS2 paper health aspect is also there. We can expect question there also. So what is mucormycosis disease? Who are at risk? Discuss the measures required to prevent and cure this disease. All these aspects earlier also on The Hindu Analysis, 16th May 2021, you can refer to The Hindu Analysis of this day, wherein details of mucormycosis disease have been discussed, especially for prelims related aspects. Next, the many benefits of eco-tax. Basically the article on page number 6, op-ed page, having the context that there is some kind of mismanagement of environment, and this is resulting into ineffective fiscal aspects related to environment protection. For example, at present what we are having is the penal aspects, focusing more on penal aspects, especially related to air pollution or water pollution. However, whatever the penal aspects, or we can call it as the ecological environment tax, this should be rationalized. There are some reforms that are required, and in India what we can do is, with the help of such kind of ecological or environment tax, we can augment the revenue of the government. At the same time we can focus on environment protection and the poverty alleviation also. How? Let us try to understand. Okay, environment regulation may take several forms, different types of environment regulation. For example, command and control. At present we are following this in India, especially related to air pollution, water pollution and other different aspects of pollution. Command and control. Economic planning and urban planning, environmental tax or eco tax or subsidies, cap and trade. Generally this term is used especially related to climate change actions, at the same time carbon credits. All these aspects are involved here, especially related to global greenhouse gases, GHGs. Okay, so India currently focuses majorly on command and control approach in tackling pollution. Basically, environment tax reform generally involves three complementary activities. Which are these? First, eliminating existing subsidies and taxes that have harmful impact on the environment. For example, the subsidies which are given for earlier, the government used to give subsidies on the petrol and diesel products, right? So more the use of these products, it is resulting into an harmful effect on the environment, right? So such subsidies should be eliminated. What are the other subsidies? Like subsidies on the fertilizers, that should be also eliminated. Then subsidies on the let's say electricity, or we can say that subsidies on kerosene. All these aspects, somehow they are harmful on environment. Other such subsidies and taxes, they should be rationalized, reduced. Next, restructuring existing taxes in environmentally supportive manner, right? So whatever the existing environmental taxes, are there or the other taxes are there, they should be rationalized, restructured in environmentally supportive manner. That means they should be focusing on environment protection. Whatever the taxes we are levying, they should be in support of environment protection. And lastly, initiating new environmental taxes. Okay, so wherever the any area, particular area has some kind of scope for implementing new taxes, environment taxes, they should be implemented. These three complementary areas we have to focus in environmental tax reforms. In India, such eco tax can target three main areas. Which are these three areas? You need to remember them. You have to write them in your essay paper or GS3 paper. Okay, which are these three areas? First thing, on vehicles. Yes, differential taxation on vehicles in transport sector purely oriented towards fuel efficiency. For example, we can understand that the older vehicles can be taxed more as compared to newer vehicles. Newer vehicles have more fuel efficiency in their engines. So this is how the differential taxation can be there. At the same time, GPS based congestion charges. This is going to be very helpful whenever there is congestion of these vehicles on the roads. This is actually increasing the fuel use and therefore more and more emissions. Right, so such kind of congestion charges can be applied here. Then in the energy sector, second aspect, by taxing fuels which feed into energy generation. For example, coal, for example, natural gas, all these fuels can be taxed in energy system. And yes, we can understand that this is to some extent deter the use of the polluting fuels and helpful in transferring or shifting towards the renewable energy sources. Right. And third aspect, waste generation and use of natural resources. This is also very important, that the more the waste generation it requires or it is harmful for the nature, and therefore it should be taxed. Along with that, the next aspect is natural resources, use of natural resources. For example, water. For example, water, excessive use of water should be taxed, and therefore to some extent it is having some kind of harmful impact on the water bodies or overall environment, and therefore this should be taxed. These are the major areas we can say that the eco tax in India can be levied. There is also need to integrate environment taxes into GST framework, as highlighted by one of the study by Madras School of Economics. Yes, we can integrate that, and surely this is going to be helpful for augmenting the revenue of the government. Right. Now, the consequences or the significance of such environmental or eco tax. First thing we have to understand, implementation of such tax is going to have huge positive impact on environment protection, poverty elevation, and surely augmenting the resources revenue of the government. So yes, benefits fiscal, environmental and poverty reduction. You can draw one triangle and you can show the significance like this. Right. So fiscal, revenue generation. The second aspect here you can write down is environment protection, and third, poverty elevation. Right. So all three aspects are being impacted positively by levying such environmental taxes. Then environment tax reform can mobilize revenues to finance basic public services when raising revenue from other sources proves to be difficult or burdensome. This is positive thing, like by raising such resources, they can be used for poverty elevation indirectly. Along with that, other social security aspects for vulnerable population or public services to vulnerable section or poor people in the society, that can be done. At the same time, environmental tax reform help to internalize the externalities. This is also important aspect. The externalities of all the economic activities needs to internalize in the all we can say that in computing the economic activities and their impact in our economy. right? So internalizing that externalities is very important, and such kind of, let's say, eco tax is beneficial in this aspect. What kind of question we can expect here? Examine the need and scope of fiscal reforms in management of environment in India. So focus here on, when we talk about fiscal reforms, you focus here on whatever the eco tax or carbon tax, all these aspects, or we can say subsidies, reducing the subsidies, leaving the eco tax. These are two important aspects when we talk about the fiscal reforms. What is the environmental tax? Discuss the areas where it can be applied and its significance. So whatever the discussion we have done at present, you focus on this. There are different types of eco tax, like for example carbon tax is there, levied on fuel, different fuels, petrol products are there, or even the carbon tax is levied on the coal production, right, or coal use. So yes, these are different eco tax. At the same time, the penalties for the breaking of pollution norms, they are, in to some extent we can say that a kind of revenue generation aspect or fiscal aspects related to management of environment, right? So all these aspects should be discussed when we talk about fiscal reforms related to management of environment. This is also important for those who are having geography optional subject. Yes. Now prelims related development, Congo volcano spares Goma city, 5 dive in crash while trying to leave. So yes, Mount Nyiragongo in Democratic Republic of Congo. Location, let us try to locate this Mount Nyiragongo. Location is here on the western boundary of Democratic Republic, which is having border with Rwanda country, and north of this Lake Kivu. This is Lake Kivu. On the bank of this Lake Kivu, Goma city is located. On the north of this, or near this Goma city, this Mount Nyiragongo is located, and yes, the volcano has once again erupted here. Okay, so we have to understand the location of various mountains in different countries and volcanic mountains or different volcano eruption. There can be match the following type of question. On the left side there can be volcanic eruptions, on the right side there can be, we can say, location or different countries where these volcanic eruptions are happening. So you need to remember Mount Nyiragongo is located in Democratic Republic of Congo. Fine? Okay. Film on Auroville's afforestation project to be screened in Paris. You need to know that this Auroville afforestation project, yes, that was a successful project for afforestation part in Viluppuram district in Tamil Nadu. Okay, north of Pondicherry, located on the coastal side on eastern coast, north of Pondicherry in Tamil Nadu. This Auroville afforestation project is located, and the journey of this afforestation project is now filmed by the Christopher Paul. Documentary is there, Ever Slow Green, name of the documentary, and it is going to be screened in Change Now Summit this year, prestigious Change Now Summit in Paris. This is going to be the virtual summit, Change Now Summit this year. This is to strengthen the interconnections between the actors of impact ecosystem and inspire greatest numbers by putting spotlight on most concrete and innovative solutions to face world's biggest challenges. Basically, it brings all the stakeholders in climate change action. This is actually the idea which born out of the Paris Agreement, Paris Climate Summit in 2015. And in 2017, such first edition of Change Now Summit happened in 2017 in Paris. This is the fourth edition of Change Now Summit. This year it is going to happen in a virtual format, and Change Now supports all initiatives that meet the 17 UN Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. Okay, so yes, basically here the demonstration of innovations is done, and other stakeholders like investors or the governments, heads of the government or governments, private players or NGOs, all they participate, and the investors can further invest in such technological developments which are focused on climate change mitigation and adaptation aspects, right? So every year UPSC is asking such kind of international organizations, forums, NGOs working towards climate change aspect. Like this year they asked one particular match the following type of question. On left side there were organizations, on right side the areas in which it is working, for example children protection or women development, empowerment, climate change. So this year they asked about this Under 2 coalition, and yes, actually this was not in news on a mainstream newspaper last year. This was in news in 2017-18, right? So such kind of international, let's say, coalitions, organizations, forums you need to remember. Okay, there is one document, if you type that climate change related organizations in Google, there is one document which enlists some important 35 such organizations, NGOs, international organizations working towards climate change. You need to know about them, remember them, in which areas they are working. Okay, yes. So COVID-19 related developments, what is happening now? India is going to, the government has decided to help ensure that co-vaccine clearances from both World Health Organizations and the EU's European Medicines Agency. At present what is happening is, in those Indians who are receiving the co-vaccine doses, the international let's say community or European Union nations, they are not recognizing this. Okay, but they are recognizing those who receive the Covishield doses, right? And that's why many Indians are facing problem here. Now the government itself is going to aggressively focus on clearing this co-vaccine approval by WHO. Next, the largest consignment of liquid medical oxygen, the Indian Navy's INS Jalashwa arrived in Visakhapatnam with 300 metric tons of oxygen and more than 3,600 oxygen cylinders from Singapore and Brunei under ongoing Operation Samudra Setu 2. You need to remember, this is the operation of Indian Navy. Okay, Samudra Setu. Cyclone Yas follow up. The cyclone system Yas is expected to cross the coast in the North Odisha and West Bengal between Paradip and Sagar Islands by evening of 26th May as very severe cyclone storm. Yes, we are having on day-to-day basis follow-up. Earlier we talked about cyclone Totai from start to end, cyclone Yas from start to end. We will have follow-up on this cyclone also. Yes, some practice prelims MCQs like this one, it is related to climate change organization. Yes, and the second MCQs, it is related to this volcano that recently erupted. Such kind of MCQs can be asked directly in the examination. Such kind of framing of question, already UPSC is focusing on such kind of question. So try to solve these MCQs, and you can download this particular PDF from the description link of this YouTube video. At the same time, we are also providing some practice MCQs along with these MCQs and its model answers in detail on our Telegram channel of Lukman IAS. So to join this Telegram channel, the link is provided again in the description of this video. Along with that, some important previous year questions MCQs analysis is being done by the Lukman IAS faculty on day-to-day basis. Such videos are provided on our Telegram channel on day-to-day basis along with daily current affairs for prelims examination. So yes, it is going to be very helpful. Join Telegram channel and YouTube channel of Lukman IAS. Okay, these were important articles from today's The Hindu newspaper. Try to take input for both prelims as well as mains examination. As we all know that prelims have been postponed to 10th October 2021, many of you would want to work upon your weaknesses, especially for some areas like ethics paper, polity paper for mains examination by writing practice. So Lukman IAS has come up with test series of these two subjects along with GS whole syllabus, essay paper and public administration test series. So students can write some test in next 2 months. To know more about this test series, you can contact Lukman IAS. Thank you.